I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed that after she goes, the genuine shift doesn't take place? When she discovers you're not pursuing her, it occurs. The majority of men believe that her leaving him is the cause of their misery. However, in reality, that isn't the tipping point. When your quiet enters the picture, the true change occurs. For being silent is not a sign of weakness. It's there. It is evidence that you are no longer in need of begging, arguing, or fighting to prove yourself. And her world changes as that silence descends because it seems empty. She's finally experiencing life without the attention she formerly took for granted, not because you're attempting to punish her. And no apology can make up for that silence, brother. I miss you more than anyone else. Please return. I'm louder than anyone. I want to show you today what actually transpires when she recognizes that she has lost you. And once you realize this, heartbreak won't hold you back in the same way. First, there is a state of bewilderment. Let me first explain you what actually occurs, bro. The first thing that strikes her when she realizes she's lost you isn't anger. It's unclear. She felt she had you figured out and that you would always be there, circling her, regardless of what she said or did. However, she is completely taken aback when your vigor wanes. The world is upside down. She begins to relive previous exchanges, going over every detail and wondering where she went wrong. She will eventually come across as unconcerned and aloof. She would exhibit an odd curiosity the following day, as if she were trying out that back end. Fourthly, it isn't love. That represents her mind struggling with an unaccepted reality, that she no longer has your presence or attention. Furthermore, brother, that bewilderment isn't a strength. It's the realization that she no longer has the pillar she believed she could always rely on. Second, there is no healing from replacement. Man, this is the second thing. Her first reaction when she recognizes that she has lost you is frequently to fill the void as quickly as she can. She might leap into the arms of another person. Perhaps she begins to flaunt her brand new lifestyle as if it were an overnight upgrade. But that's not healing, as you and I both know. Distraction is what that is. Her new partner isn't a romantic partner. He merely acts as a buffer against the quiet you abandoned and discovers the truth. The more loudly she displays this alleged joy, the more hollow it feels on the inside. Real healing doesn't cry out for attention, just as true joy doesn't require an audience. It's silent. It is stable. It also requires time. She isn't displaying any growth. It's confidence masquerading as desperation. And she knows it in her heart. Observing from the shadows is the third item. This is when it becomes subtle, my friend. You might not get a text from her. Even if she might not call, she is still there, I promise. They are merely observing from the background. She will verify your accounts, go over your postings, and perhaps even ask a mutual friend about you. You might assume it's simply curiosity, but it's not. Control is slipping. She wants to know if you still think of her in the same manner that you used to think of her. The weird part comes next. In fact, you occupy more mental space in her mind the less you acknowledge her. Being silent doesn't make you go away. You become memorable as a result. Fourth, pride can conceal regret. Now, brother, remorse will be one of the most profound changes you observe. However, she will never display it directly up. Rather, she will proudly conceal it. Perhaps she will tell you an old joke that only the two of you would understand if you run into her. Or perhaps she mentions it in passing, as if it were inconsequential and unimportant. Don't be misled, though. Nostalgia is not that. Longing is what that is. She does that as a discreet method of checking to see if the door is still open. And most males make mistakes here. They mistake that regret for affection. Here's the reality, though. She doesn't want you back just because she regrets it. It does not imply that her emotions are suddenly genuine once more. It just indicates that she now realizes what she lost. A man who is no longer standing by the door. A man who has made progress. And she will never acknowledge how profound that realization is. Conflict as a hook is the fifth item. You'll notice another move here. Man. She will attempt to drag you into a fight when her pride fails. She can critique your progress, make small barbs at you, or say something that irritates you just enough. Why? Because even fury is a sign that you still care in her world. She still possesses some of your energy if she can make you fight or protect yourself. However, she is terrified of silence. Her control is lost when she is silent. This is the reason the man declines. It always wins to get pulled into the pandemonium. Because how loudly you argue or how quickly you clap back don't demonstrate true power. It's evident in the composure you maintain when she tries to unsettle you. Silence is where true power resides. The one thing she cannot take away from you is that. The sixth is unexpected kindness. Brother, this is when things become complicated. She might suddenly become softer. She will speak in a softer tone, convey a charming little message, and perhaps even sound as like she is simply checking in. Additionally, it seems harmless at first, even alluring. Here's what you need to know, though. Real love doesn't come back in the shape of a show. After a period of stillness, someone who truly loves you doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It is rooted, steady, and constant. At this point, sudden kindness isn't motivated by love. It has to do with surviving. It is her way of saying, "Remember me. Please don't abandon me entirely." And you'll find yourself right back in the cycle you broke away from when you mistake this for a genuine connection with the man who has grown past you and recognizes it for what it is, not love for who you are, but fear of losing access to you. The seventh step is to rewrite the narrative. You'll notice another move here. Man, she'll want to change the narrative as the sadness of losing you begins to set in. She might claim that it wasn't so bad. She might pretend that you weren't as important as people believed. Even worse, she will portray herself as the one who contributed everything, while you are said to have contributed nothing. Don't fall for the trick, though. This is untrue. It's defense. Her ego cannot handle acknowledging that she lost a man who became stronger without her. To lessen the pain of the present, she instead alters the past. Here's the problem, though. There is no need to rewrite the truth. It also doesn't require defense. Deep within, number. She is aware of exactly what she lost, regardless of how she spins it. And no matter what she says aloud, she will always be burdened by that silent reality. The eighth item is re-entry breadcrumbs. Here's what typically happens next. She will attempt these small, delicate re-entry techniques if changing the narrative doesn't make it any less painful, brother. Just crumbs. Nothing significant or straightforward. Perhaps she suddenly develops an affection for an old picture. She might send you a casual, "Hey, how are you?" message or ask you a trivial question that she doesn't actually need to ask. These aren't arbitrary. No, they are indicators. She's not attempting to strike up a meaningful discussion. She is attempting to determine whether the door is still open. Permission. She's searching for that. The majority of males fall into this trap. You will starve if you follow crumbs. However, you demonstrate to her something far more potent when you ignore them and don't play the game. That you are no longer waiting on the other side and that the door is locked. Thus, keep this in mind. Her approach will change drastically once she recognizes that she has lost you. Bewilderment, phony joy, arrogance, confrontation, unexpected generosity, subtly returning, silent awe, and ultimately surrender. However, it all suggests the same reality. She lost the man she believed would be hers forever. Furthermore, chasing, proving, or explaining is not your strongest suit. It's in maintaining your composure. Because the one thing she cannot take away from you is serenity, brother. And after discovering that, you've